Houston is the definition of diva. Like if you open Webster's dictionary, you're gonna see diva. You're going to see a picture of Whitney Houston. I'm not joking. I'm not even kidding.
She was a cultural icon, an absolute cultural icon.
A diva takes on an entire season. A diva is Christmas.
When you think about Mariah Carey, you think about diva and you think about impact.
But I feel like I've said, I taste like honey.
Well, how do you know what you taste like?
What do you taste like? Let us know.
Hello and welcome to Rivals. This is a show where we dig into all of the 90s and Y2K pop culture and we battle it out to see which one is better. My name's Alyssa Sabo and I obviously love pop culture because it made me who I am, which is a diva.
What's up? I'm Jade Catapretta. And I mean, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Mariah. Look at these nails. These are like my childhood fantasies. So I'm very excited to be here and battle it out for Mariah.
Oh, hi everybody. I am Courtney Revolution. I love pop culture and it is actually my dream to go back in time and be one of Mariah's backup dancers wearing silver in the Honey Remix video.
It's not too late.
Oh my
You could do a
God.
Christmas tour.
I could.
Yeah.
I could. Mariah,
So
I will
funny.
join you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Monica Lumba, and at the end of the day, I also too want to dance with somebody.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to dance with me? Today we are breaking down. We are doing Whitney Houston versus Mariah Carey.
We want to separate the teams and we want to tell you who's who. Over here, we have Team Mariah, we have Courtney and Jade, moi.
And
over
that's
there,
right. And if you're
I know how to make
listening,
an M.
we have Team Whitney Houston, which is Alyssa, that's me, and Monica.
That's me.
Okay.
That's me,
And we are
Whitney.
the powerful singers.
So I got to do a little bit of a disclaimer before we get started,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Mariah, Whitney, you guys are both incredible. You're icons. We love you both. You're incredible, powerful women, and we never want to put women against each other. I know that that's what media does, and we don't do that. Except this show is called Rivals, so we are going to battle it out.
No, seriously, we're not the media. We're not trying to put them against each other, but we are going to have a friendly debate. And going through, honestly, both Mariah and Whitney's
Repertoire?
repertoire,
Yeah.
all these moments, it's juicy.
It's juicy. But before we get into the episode, we got to back it up a second because we had another episode and we got to reveal the winner, right?
Oh, yes, go
Okay,
on.
and last week was Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC, and
Who won?
I don't know what happened in the comments.
Who won?
I don't want to talk about it, but Backstreet Boys won.
Backstreet's back.
Not this.
Backstreet's back,
I know.
Courtney.
Thank you guys
Not
so
Nick
much.
Carter.
Courtney.
I'm so
And
Thank
that
you so much.
haircut.
All of those people that were in the comments talking about how much Brian Littrell means to them in his heart surgery. I appreciate you guys.
And to that I say,
Hot mess.
who?
Okay.
Who is that? Why don't we know any?
It's time to get into it, okay? This
Yeah.
is where we're gonna talk about it. We're diving in, okay? It's Mariah Carey versus Whitney Houston.
Yeah, boys, sit down. It's time for these women to step in, baby.
Uh-oh.
Are we about to queen out?
We are about to queen out. First of all, the lighting is good. We feel good. We got our little champagne. I've got my rings on. I'm wearing my Pandora bracelet.
Okay, I'm actually wearing.
Here.
Whitney Houston was always very put together,
Yes.
and so that's what I'm wearing. And you can't see this; it's a dress. It's very form
It's very
fitting.
Christmassy, which is kind of Mariah's thing.
No,
but-
because when I hear Whitney Houston sing, I'm transported to the greatest time of my life, which sometimes is Christmas.
Okay.
Anywho.
Well,
Okay, Alyssa.
let me just start off by saying you guys were little when this was happening. I was already a human, okay, with personality and friends.
And what year was that?
This
What year was
not-
that, by the way?
It was 1990 when she first came out.
No, that you said you had a
Who are you
personality
even
and friends.
talking about?
1990. I lost it. I was already, I was like a little older when this stuff was happening. I was already
Sure.
going to dances and dancing with boys like this.
So we should lean on your memory
We gotta
more than
lean on my
anybody
memories.
else. That's all I heard.
And I have to say, Mariah Carey changed the way that we listen to music, the way we looked at celebrities
Yes,
and music.
ma'am.
Like she is a season, okay? What is Whitney?
Okay,
No,
wow.
what is
Thank you for that. No, thank you for
Hold on
that.
a
What is
second.
Whitney?
I'm gonna come in strong today.
Whitney Houston, I'll tell you this. Men have their football players that they worship and they idolize and they watch them do their little football moves. For me, when I watch Whitney Houston and I see her sing and I hear her sing, I feel I'm watching a god.
Okay.
An angel.
Yeah.
I feel I'm watching something and it's transporting me to a place in which I can do anything. The superhero that she is. Now, she grew up And she was singing in the church, okay? And not to get into it,
No,
but
let's-
that's where
no,
I
let's-
started singing.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and I'm not
Did you
saying
call Whitney Houston a superhero? I'm
she's
so
a
sorry.
superhero.
I'm screaming.
Are
I'm
you
so
joking?
sorry.
The way
I'm respectfully screaming.
What are you
She's
talking
not
about?
a superhero.
Yes, she
I'm
is.
just imagining Whitney with a cape and all those.
I'm saying the way that superheroes save lives.
Did Whitney
Also-
save
Saved
you?
my life.
You're talking about when she says superhero, and let me just come in here and
Monica's
let
gonna
me
explain.
provide some of the facts here. Because when she says superhero, she means it's an embodiment of like a full thing. Like, no shade to Mariah, but Mariah felt a little curated. Like Whitney was a person with this soul. The way she moved on stage, she was not just standing and singing. We're not just putting vocals against vocals. The way she was dancing, she took up space.
And
She did.
she had this like confidence about her. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I didn't always have confidence.
Oh.
And when I saw Whitney do anything, it
You
made me
can't
feel
use
empowered.
every single person to say that they gave you confidence. It is. No, it's
It's a part of the podcast
it
now
is.
where Alyssa says, when
I
I was a
was a
little
young
girl.
girl.
When I was a little girl,
It's
I wasn't popular until I brought out the Whitney Houston gum.
No, it's true. But okay, there's something about Whitney. There is something about Whitney that, like, you know, we're gonna get into it. But I just think that for me, I like, it's like Mariah Carey is amazing, of course, and
Yeah.
and that's why, like, for this episode, it's not even really gonna be about, for me at least, it's hard for me to do Mariah versus Whitney. I'm just gonna speak to how powerful and amazing and like legendary and kind of otherworldly Whitney Houston is. That's
Yeah.
sort of what I'm going to speak to, and you know what, and then do with that what you will.
And she is.
And
Yeah.
so, okay, anywho.
She is. Hallelujah. But let's break
But-
it down, right?
Let's
Let's
break
go
it down.
section
Break
by
it down.
section.
That's what I was trying to
yeah,
do,
yeah,
and
it's the 90s, okay?
Yep.
It's the 90s. We don't have
break down
we
Mariah.
don't have a lot of singers like Mariah.
We really
come
don't,
along, okay?
honestly.
There's a lot of soulful singing that's happening already. A lot of these singers that are like coming straight from church and doing these big ballads, right? We got the Celine Dion's.
Yes, ma'am.
But we don't have anybody like Mariah yet. She comes around, she's not only doing gospel and these crazy high octaves, but she's also bringing in the R&B. She's kind of one of the first girls to bring that. I mean, we wouldn't have Ariana Grande. We wouldn't have these kinds of like R&B, soulful, mixed pop singers if Mariah hadn't come along.
And you know what?
Yeah, I
Like
don't know
Whitney
if it's-
was a great singer, a great talent, a legend, an icon. However, I think that Mariah Carey had like a very special technical ability that made me personally focus in on her more than Whitney Houston. My mom played both Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, but when I wanted to clean the house, I wanted to hear Miss Honey and Miss Fantasy.
Yeah.
Whitney
that's-
Houston
you
was
know.
That's
for the
interesting
people
that that's a
had-
house cleaning song.
Right,
Yeah.
you're gonna listen to
Yeah.
Mariah while you
It
clean.
gives them the
I
power
have
to clean.
when I listen to Whitney Houston, I have to be totally still, and I have to be focused, and I have because it takes me and it transports.
Are
me.
you meditating?
And this is how I
Is she a monk?
So it's
No,
meditative
listen,
too.
Whitney Houston is singing. She literally, when she sang music, not even the composers themselves felt the things that Whitney would bring to these songs, and that is something that was said. I forget who said that. Somebody
Oh.
said.
Very credible.
Look at me like I know. No, I think Courtney, I feel like that's a good point because my mom also played Whitney and Mariah. Like we had the Christmas album of Mariah and we had the vinyl for Whitney. And I do like they're both incredible.
They're both incredible
have
singers. We can't-
incredible
I used
vocal
to-
range and talent. But I think it is like one of those things where I'm like, I did relate with Whitney more. And why is that? Because Mariah feels to me at that time just a little bit I'm like a messy kid. I'm a dirty kid. I'm like
She was
running
very
around.
dirty.
I'm like,
Yeah.
was like always outside. Like I wasn't like in front of the mirror, like adjusting the lighting. And I'm like, Whitney to me was like real. Like I'm like, there's real drama there. There's real power.
There
where I
was
was
a
like, I just
heart-
related to her more.
a
I
heart
think.
and an emotion to her music, and then also on top of that, it was just next level singing. Now I was a karaoke host for 7 years, and I'll tell you this: nobody was trying to sing Whitney Houston songs. But yeah, sure, people were coming up trying to do Mariah. You
Oh,
know,
see, I
but
think that's the
nobody would even
opposite.
touch.
Wait,
Nobody
what?
would even
Yeah.
touch Whitney Houston. People, and if they were, I said you're not allowed. People would try to
Well,
sing.
now
I
we
will
know
always-
why. Now we know why.
People would try to say, I will always say, I'm sorry, you can't do it.
Yeah.
I just feel
You
like
know.
Mariah comes out, right? Like
Yes, ma'am.
she I think she starts a new style of singing altogether. There was always like high octaves that people could hit, but
Could they whistle?
Could they whistle? I mean,
Could they
have
whistle?
you seen the video of her singing to the dolphins and they can hear
Bye,
her?
Alyssa.
Oh, wait. Can you talk about that though? 'Cause that actually is so funny.
Yeah, there's a video. Mariah Carey's in the water singing like, yeah. And the dolphins are just going nuts. Like they had never heard a human sing that octave before.
Sorry. That's
can
crazy.
Whitney-
Don't you
Can
think?
Whitney Houston, Eliza Thornberry with the animals?
Yeah, I don't think so. Was she speaking
I
to
don't think
dolphins?
she could.
I think if she had time to go be in SeaWorld,
She
but
had
Whitney
more
probably,
than enough time. She was hanging out with Ray J, Alyssa.
I can't imagine
Damn it.
Whitney in the water.
I think she had more. She was dancing and putting Preparation H underneath her eyes with Bobby Brown. That's what she was doing.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, don't even talk about that. Whenever, okay, in the 80s, obviously, and she does come from, her mom was a background singer.
Yep.
And so her mom did teach her how to sing, and she does have a musical family. But there was just something, I think what's cool to me about Whitney Houston is that like, she's just undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of talent and like, there's just something in when she said, and I don't know, like, it's just like, there's something in it. I'm not saying Mariah Carey's not an amazing singer. Of course she is, but there is some level of heart and emotion that you see, that you feel in Whitney's music. That's why it's like, it's hard for me to even have this conversation.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not a competition.
It is hard to compare. Yeah.
It's
She's
so like different.
And she's
so,
such a badass. Even if you watch some of her interviews, like I forget, there's like a really good one with Oprah, and there's another one where this woman accuses her of like being on crack and like calling her too skinny, like to her face. And Whitney's like, no, sorry, no, respectfully, no, like my life's really hard, like no. And I just feel like there weren't a lot of women at that time when they got absolutely destroyed by the media being like, I'm good, I'm pushing, this is not me, this is like, you're doing this for the media. And like to see that as a kid, like it's powerful.
Yeah.
Can I say something? This is completely unrelated, but also super related.
Okay.
I heard all of that and I take all of that in and I digest that.
I'm scared.
However,
I'm scared.
there was a film, a very special film, and it was called Rush Hour. And there was a young lady in that film that was about to be kidnapped. Opening scene. When Miss Sue Young starts singing Fantasy by Mariah Carey before those kidnappers assassinate the driver, it changed my brain chemistry. I think in that moment, we all decided that we were going to love Mariah Carey.
so it wasn't Mariah Carey singing?
It was her song.
Thank you.
was
No,
her
thank you.
song.
Thank you.
Wait,
It was my good sis Sue
Hold
Young.
on, I'm just
the
saying it
pop culture
wasn't her
impact that
voice.
Mariah
Okay, but
Carey
wait, I'm
had,
sorry,
even
sorry,
in
that's amazing.
movies.
But Whitney's main song that everybody loves, she did not write.
Doesn't matter. Dolly
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Parton
Do you
wrote,
know
but
how
you're
many people?
saying-
Do you know how many
to your
people wanted to
point.
cover that song? And Dolly Parton said no. And then Whitney Houston wanted to cover it. She said yes. Okay. And don't even get, because I love Dolly Parton and I love Whitney Houston, and so that is a different situation. And Whitney made that a totally different song.
I know.
Those are two different songs.
I know, but you're saying that. But I'm saying Mariah Carey wrote that song. That song carried on beyond just the song itself.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
great.
I'm saying I think that Whitney Houston was an incredible singer, and she was put in a lot of really good opportunities. Right, The Bodyguard. We can't deny it. That whole moment. However, like, did she shape herself as a whole artist for people
let's
to
get into
follow?
it. In the 80s, when
Yeah.
she came out with How Will I Know, and that music video,
Yeah,
I know
that- yeah,
everybody
video.
knows that music
Yeah.
video. It lives in my head. I think about it every morning when I wake up. How will I know? And I think about the colors and the purples and the pinks and Whitney dancing and just effortlessly the star that she is, and it allows me to get out of bed.
And I think that after that, the media corrupted her in a way that she didn't have
Well,
thick enough
relax.
skin to like
Before we
kind
get into
of.
the,
I don't
before
think
we,
so.
before
I
we
don't
even
think so. What are you
transition
talking
into the
about?
battle of it all, I wanted to ask you guys that are watching us battle it out at this table, which singer between Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston do you think has the strongest voice? Or which singer do you think has had the biggest impact? Let us know in the comments right now. Get those fingers moving.
Because actually, you may have differing opinions. You may be like, okay, this one's more of an icon, but this one has like a better voice, technically, or whatever. They may be different answers. Okay, so if you need to break that down, if you need to do a couple of sentences to be describing that, that's okay.
And I want you guys to make sure you listen to I Will Always Love You. And that first note that is a cappella it sends a chill down your spine. And
really
then I
does.
want you to
Not a
answer.
chill.
And I want to dance with somebody.
13 Going on 30, a great movie starring Jennifer Garner. We love her.
Fantastic film.
Mark
Love that movie.
Ruffalo.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And I Want to Dance with Somebody, in my opinion, makes that movie what it is.
Not Thriller?
No.
No.
You
No
tried
one
it.
remembers
Because
that part.
because when she's
No one
getting ready,
remembers that part.
look at me.
You know, if you watch this
Yeah.
episode right now, you think of 13 Going on 30, you think
It's
about
when-
Jennifer Garner in that beautiful green dress
No, you
doing
don't.
Thriller with Mark
Yeah.
Ruffalo.
You think about Jennifer Garner putting on way too much blush,
Yes.
listening to Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. She's getting ready. She's a 13-year-old girl trapped in a 30-year-old body, and she's doing blush, and she's listening to Whitney Houston,
Yes.
and that
explains
is
the
what-
kind of fan that Whitney Houston has.
I'm
a
not
young girl.
trying to be shady when I say I literally don't remember that.
Yeah,
in
I
the film.
do.
Like, I swear on my life I'm being
Okay,
so
well,
serious.
Okay,
What
so,
she was?
so she comes out with that album. Mariah Carey comes out with her. What's her very first album?
Self-titled.
Self-titled. Mariah Carey.
One more
That's how you say it?
time.
Mariah Carey. She's still figuring it out, but like she's got this vibe that nobody has at the time, you know? She's like the way we dress now, Aritzia, Mariah Carey started the way that we dress
Fair.
like that. I'm sorry, J-Lo completely
okay,
copied.
Mariah
Break that
Carey,
down,
yeah,
actually, because
yeah.
I don't know if I quite understand
a little,
that.
Like a little cute tee and a light jean, way too low on your waist.
A little
like,
tummy.
Oh my
a little
God,
tummy
what
moment
do
showing.
Mariah Carey didn't
Everybody
do that.
copied that look.
Yeah.
It-
a low
like-
rise jean,
Yeah.
a tank top moment.
Yeah.
That don't scream Mariah.
I'm pretty sure I saw Rosie the Riveter wearing that.
Literally, who the hell is that? Literally, who the hell is
Oh
that?
my
I don't
God.
know.
That's
That's what
gonna
I'm
be cool.
saying. I don't know. What are you talking about?
I also was saying that
talking
I
about
saw
fashion.
a side by side of Mariah Carey and Whitney, and it must have been like in the late 80s, early 90s, and they have the exact same hairstyle. And I'm like, who copied who?
What hairstyle was that?
It
Describe
was
it.
like
Curly hair.
the curly classic 80s, and I was just like, yeah, Mariah's just kind of like copying Whitney in some ways.
I don't think
I'm sure
so.
they weren't the only ones that had that
Yeah, I
hairstyle.
think that was
Maybe
just
it was
kind
just
of
a
the
trend.
hairstyle.
I don't know. The picture made it seem like it was like the only two people
But I think
had
that
hairstyle.
in the whole
yeah, the way
universe.
the picture looked, I was kind
Yeah.
of like,
in
those
the,
are
in the
only
80s,
Everybody.
everybody wanted curly hair.
Yeah, everybody
That's fair.
was doing perms.
But
Yeah.
well,
well.
Even though we know
you know
that-
what? Side note, I'm thinking about getting a perm.
Don't do it.
Well, let's chat about that.
Yeah, don't
Why
do
you
it.
wanna do it? Why do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I feel like I have a big personality, and I think if I had big curly hair, it would make more sense.
I think you should do it. I'm
What do you
I'm
guys
very
think?
pro you getting
Okay.
a perm.
Don't do it. You can never go back.
Yes, you can.
Did you ever have a perm?
Not really. Huh?
Did you ever have a perm?
No, but it really ruins your hair. Don't do it.
Yeah, your hair might fall out.
Yeah, don't do it.
Well,
Hair might fall
You
out.
got,
Okay.
you got the
Okay,
hair.
sorry.
let's move on.
Anyways, moving on.
I always
Okay,
get that
so-
Reese Witherspoon movie where they're like, oh, she couldn't have been in the shower because she
Yeah.
had just
Yeah,
had
yeah,
this
yeah,
perm.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
shout out,
so
shout
we
out
need-
Legally Blonde.
Okay, so we're fighting against, we're putting them against each other, but so did the entire world,
Yes.
right? But in multiple occasions, they sat down in interviews and were like, she's an incredible singer.
Yes.
She's an incredible singer. They actually got a chance to collab in something, right?
Yes.
They
The
did a
Prince of
soundtrack.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Which
When you
is
believe.
Actually, one of my favorite movies growing up. I was obsessed with the Prince
Really?
of Egypt. I loved it.
I really
Whoa.
like that
and I
movie
like
too.
didn't love animated stuff that much as a kid, but I just like I would watch it over and over.
And that was
Yeah.
the,
It's really
that was
good. It had,
seen
an,
as-
it had a notoriously incredible soundtrack, number one, and that's where they collabed
it
on
was
this
the
song,
peace offering.
"When You Believe," and they did. First of all, the recording of it is crazy. There's also watch a live video of it because
Them in the recording studio.
crazy.
It's like it is
Incredible.
insane. That
Yeah.
to me is like that's why this is a hard episode for me because when you watch that and you see the two of them singing together, it's just like
and they liked
two-
each other.
They're obsessed. They
Yeah.
both think that they're both great singers, and like so it's not even, but then you get into the sort of like. It's just like I think what it is just who you vibe with more, and you seem to have more of a pattern of the fun.
I love
The-
fun. I love a party. You know, dancing in the parking lot.
You know what I like?
You're saying
Yeah,
Boopity
boopity
Beppo?
boop.
I love the, you know what it is? I love the best. I love the best of both worlds. I
Boop-a-da-boop.
love fun, but I also love talent and vocal ability
Sure.
and technical ability.
Yeah, and I
and
like a
harmonies.
personality too. She's
Yeah.
developed it. Like honestly, if you think of Christmas, I would say that Mariah Carey is within the top 10 things that people think of.
Absolutely.
To this day, you think
Absolutely.
of Butterfly.
You
Mariah
think
Carey,
Jesus?
Absolutely.
You think
You think
Jesus?
Diamond,
Santa?
Mariah.
You think Star Spangled Banner? You think Whitney Houston?
No, I don't. You know, I think Fergie, just because I like to go there.
What?
Yeah, because
No,
she had such
Whitney
a bad
Houston. We
vibe.
need to break that down.
Hold
She had
on,
such a
Jade.
bad
Hold on, we
vibe.
need to break that down.
But Jade, have you recently re-listened to Whitney singing the
Yeah, I
Star
did a
Spangled
little
Banner?
listening
No,
after-
did you? But Jade, look at me. Did you?
I did. I re-listened.
Okay, because when I
And she's incredible.
re-listened to Whitney singing the national anthem and that tracksuit, which by the way, I've got a bid out on eBay for that
tracksuit. I know that would have been so funny if we came in those tracksuits.
You're the exact same measurements as Whitney Houston, is what you're saying to us?
No.
She wants to put it in a glass box.
She was sort of. No, I don't know. It's not Whitney's tracksuit. There is a look-alike tracksuit on eBay that I have a bid out for, and I'm waiting.
Tracksuit is
she's waiting.
It's just somebody's, but it's similar. Anyways,
Get back
I
to
don't
her.
think I'm the same size as her, but also maybe we're both kind of like tall and skinny.
Y'all are silly.
Okay, so the Star Spangled Banner. Let's break it down.
I don't even know if I love this country, but when I hear Whitney sing that, I'm obsessed with this country. I'll go to war. I decided I would go to war after I heard her sing that.
For
I said,
Whitney
I'll
Houston.
go
She
to
was
war.
so good.
Because of what she was able to invoke in me. I said, I'll go to war.
Yeah.
And Monica knows this. I said,
I do.
where are we going? Vietnam? Who needs me to fight?
I think if you want to get in the comments right then, just don't. You know what I mean?
I'm
Don't
just
get in
saying,
the comments
I'm
about
saying,
that.
I'm
Say
so
that.
anti-war, but when I heard it, I was like, I'll go to war.
Let's get back to
I'm supposed to
Mariah.
say, bring
Here
the
it is.
draft back.
Here it is.
Like-
Mariah's in a tracksuit, okay? She's on the football field. There's a full symphony behind her. They go, it's about to start. And she just stands there. The symphony starts. And we have never heard a Star Spangled Banner like that. Like,
you
we
meant
heard Marvin
Houston.
Gaye, and it was really good, but it wasn't.
but it wasn't just like, it was powerful. And she was so like, if you watch that clip, like she's so relaxed.
She's
and there's so
so
much
effortless.
power exuding from her. And it's never been done like that.
When
It really
she
hasn't.
sings, this is the thing I watch. When she sings and her mouth, the vibrato she does with her mouth, it like blows me away. I get chills thinking about it. Like, I don't even know how she does it.
yeah.
So we can all agree that the media pit Whitney and Mariah against each other, and
Yeah.
that was wrong.
That was
right?
wrong.
Yes,
Yes,
but
it
we're
was
not doing
wrong.
that.
But
We're-
you know what? You know what ruins every good woman out there?
What?
A fucked up man.
Are
if
we
it-
getting into that now?
Let's just get into it just in a above surface moment, okay?
Okay.
I think that Whitney loved really hard. And hey, Mariah had a moment. She was married to Nick Cannon, you know?
Yes,
my
she
favorite,
was.
My
But
favorite
guess
thing
what?
about Mariah
Those first
Carey,
two kids, you know?
my favorite thing about Mariah Carey is the fact that she was literally held under someone's control. Like Tommy Mottola was like controlling her whole entire career, her every move. My sister couldn't even go to the fridge. She couldn't even go and hang out with her friends without like security losing their mind. And the fact that she was able and still able to have like this amazing and fruitful career after and like really change the landscape of what like pop and hip hop are, I think is incredible. Like we didn't really see pop acts like hanging out with like the rappers the way that Mariah Carey was hanging out with like Jadakiss
Yeah, she
Oh,
and
started
Diddy
all
and a lot.
all the feature.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't
think-
really a lot of women featured in songs until she kind of started doing that, and then men started featuring on her songs.
Yeah.
like Heartbreaker, Jay-Z. I mean, that music video alone is just.
Well, okay, I just
That's
want to
true.
really
That's
touch
true.
upon what you were saying about Whitney dating or, getting married to Bobby. Here's the thing. I'll say this. Yeah, that was like, of course, we've all been in bad relationships. But I think that Whitney's, wanting to be loved and be in a relationship, that just speaks to her as a human. Like, and so to make it seem like, oh, she shouldn't have done that, that ruined her. I don't think it did. I think it almost added more emotion to
I think it
her
killed
songs.
her. I think it killed her.
Well,
This
It
is
killed- I
speculation.
think it let-
yeah.
You can't say like what.
I think
what
when
we
she
will
went down,
say-
crack killed her. What do you mean?
But it could also be fame.
Mm.
Because
Yeah, it could
so,
be
so
fame.
what you can't
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
like, well, that killed her. Like it's like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, but
Are you saying
to
that
speak
maybe you
about
feel
that
like it's
is
a
just so-
culmination of many things,
Versus
including
like one
instead of
relationship.
one
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm
relationship?
just saying like.
and both things can be true.
Yeah.
As
like,
somebody
you know what I'm
who
saying?
also like has a hard time and doesn't always get into the right relationship, it's like you can't say that that's like necessarily like it's not about it whether it being bad or good. It's just like what it was, and that's
Yeah.
who she decided to be with. And but also at the end of the day, when I listened to her saying, "Didn't we almost have it all?" I almost, in a way, like it helps me relate more because I'm like, you know what, she's not perfect and she's had some hard times as well,
Yes.
and that's why the songs are more powerful for me.
And you also made a good point, which is that Whitney was married to Bobby, obviously, but liked women. And in
Yes.
this day and
She
age
could
might
have
be
probably-
considered
yes.
pan.
So that's not like a known thing. No, not everybody knows about this, but in this Netflix documentary, we all learned, and
That
we're very
that
happy
Whitney
to
liked
hear
women?
that Whitney liked one. She was with this one woman who was like her
Well,
friend.
yeah, Robin was
Yeah.
and they had a very like they said in the documentary that sometimes Robin was the only one that was able to get Whitney out of bed to do things, because it was obviously her, like, you know, it's hard to be this like performer that's just like on demand all the time. And so Robin and Whitney, they had like kind of a codependent relationship.
No, I can't imagine it, because
and Bobby was very threatened.
by their
Wow.
relationship. Like, I can't imagine having to do what we do, where we have to like push ourselves so much, and then meanwhile you're like kind of hiding the secret. Like, I was in the closet for a long time, unknowing, like, because I had so much internal homophobia. Can you imagine in the 90s where there's so much homophobia, being such a person in the news, you're with someone and they like see you holding hands or something, like just the pressure of that,
And
I
Whitney
think
grew
really
up in the
got to her.
church as
Yeah,
well.
she grew up in the
So
church.
like maybe she was conflicted as well and trying to figure it out.
And obviously a lot of people, when they get involved with drugs, that's what they're doing. They're trying to run away from their demons, and that's what she was doing. And so, but
It's like, just eat a pussy, you know?
her power and her voice and her, I mean, yeah. So anyways, but that, to me, that makes me love her even more.
But it makes me, you know, look at Mariah, and even like she got through all of this, like, and she's still thriving. Like, I mean, not to say, I mean, I don't know if they had different. It's not one is harder
like
than the
Mariah
other.
Carey had like a perfect life after Tommy Mottola, but I think that it is important to note that both artists, Mariah and Whitney, have been through like crazy relationships.
Yeah.
And as human beings, artists, we all have choices. And Mariah made her choices, and we see where those led her today. And Whitney made her choices as well. And that is why we are here speaking upon her legacy versus an artist that is still with us today.
Yeah.
That
Fair?
was really
Yeah,
beautifully
fair
put,
point.
honestly.
Beautiful.
Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I could tear up with you just saying that.
I
because
know.
It was beautifully
That's
put.
how I look at it. You know,
No,
we all
but
have choices.
imagine being like under that kind of public scrutiny when you're like the number, you know, like everywhere you go, every move you make, somebody's going like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you get involved in drugs, and it's like, you're fighting your
and
own battle.
The other thing about Whitney, and I don't really know about Mariah, but I know that Whitney loved her family so much and literally employed her whole family. So think about like the weight of like all of her money and her fame and success, and she was like responsible for all of her family's like employment. And so I don't even know what that would feel like and what that would look like. And then just like, you know, trying to be a person, just trying to like be a normal person. And it's interesting because The Bodyguard, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies.
Let's get into that.
Well,
So
and
wait,
I
hang on.
always
Before we move
forgot-
on, let's discuss the fact that both women have had like careers and entertainment moments outside of music, right? Because they've both been on our screens outside of music. So let's like sort of break down that web. Come on, spiders.
Let's break it down.
Let's break it down.
And I have to say, because in talking about doing this episode, Alyssa was like obsessed with The Bodyguard. So I did some deep diving.
Well,
and you
because
also said,
we have spoken about Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I have spoken about
Yes.
Kevin Costner.
Wait, somebody
What
told me
a
that
man, what
we
a
were
man.
talking about like who looks really good in real life, like versus screen, and somebody was like, Kevin Costner is the hottest
course
guy
he
I've
is.
ever met in real
And
life.
I
And I was
want
like,
the Kevin
my friend
Costner heads to come in the comments. We're talking
the
Kevin
Costner
Costner again.
heads.
You didn't think we would be able to
Costner
bring him up again, but we're talking about him again.
I
Yeah,
also,
go ahead.
I watched Bodyguard, and I'm like, oh yeah, Kevin Costner is f***ing hot.
He's so hot.
and he's like
protecting
a
her.
nice guy.
He's so nice.
He's a nice guy in
Well,
that
and
movie.
that movie is interesting because I was telling you, I was watching it and I was like, I always thought that The Bodyguard was like based on Whitney's real life.
I thought that
but then it
too.
wasn't. But it
Yeah.
kind of is
It
because
kind
in
of
The
is.
Bodyguard, it is like all of her family
So
members.
break
that
down
she's
the
employed.
plot. It's like,
Yes, it's about this like pop star singer musician who is employing her whole family and everybody, and then obviously there's a stalker and somebody's like trying to kill her and her son, and Kevin Costner is hired. He used to work for the president,
yeah.
Secret Service.
Yes.
movies in the 90s were the best.
Then he, and obviously they fall in love and it's amazing. And they have this scene, the kiss, when
Yeah.
they kiss, when she gets off the plane. And that was like a big deal for a black leading lady to be
Yes.
with a white leading man. And obviously Kevin Costner was a huge star at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Whitney to be his lead, like that was a big deal at the time that this movie came out. And it was just about their love and like when they have that kiss and the camera's panning around like a circle, like the way that it used to do with a white guy and a white girl, but it's Whitney. It's just, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It gives
Also,
me the chills.
she sang and acted in that movie,
She's an
and it
incredible
was a
actress.
huge success.
It was a
Like we
huge
had never
success.
seen something like that where we're like, okay, she's playing this person, also singing all the songs, and also, incredible acting.
And that song, "I Will Always Love You."
Yes.
When I was growing up, me and my sisters, we used to have we would always make like fake movies, and every single movie we made had a scene where someone like killed someone or did something terrible, and then it was always that moment of, and I will always love you. Like that song was in every movie that we made for some reason. I don't know why.
Also, my favorite line from that movie is she goes, "Wait, there was someone in my house?
There was someone in my
house." She said it like 3 times. I was like, I can't.
Good.
This is so funny.
She's so real. She's so real and natural. And
I think a lot of people thought she would do a lot more film.
Yes.
Like,
Well, Cinderella was really good.
Waiting
you guys, I'm sorry, Cinderella with
Fantastic.
Monica was a good moment.
Brandy.
Oh yeah, Brandy.
How dare
Brandy.
you?
Rodgers and
The boy is
Hammerstein.
mine. She also produced the Cheetah Girls. You're welcome. You're welcome.
The Preacher's Wife.
And then Mariah, what did she
Mariah
do?
had something.
Mariah Carey gave us Glitter.
Glitter is an
Honey?
epic
Honey
moment.
was a song.
Yeah, and then she was also
Glitter,
in
Honey,
Sparkle something.
Sparkle.
Listen,
Glitter.
It may have been
Happy
critically
times.
panned, but it still inspired people to go and follow their dreams. I feel like without Glitter, we wouldn't have like Christina Aguilera's Burlesque.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you know what
agree.
I'm saying? And everyone loves Burlesque because we love Cher.
And she was also in
love how nobody agreed.
Precious.
She was in Precious. And she appeared on Empire as well.
Yeah,
right?
and she's had a lot of TV appearances
That's
since
awesome.
then. Also, she is a celebrity, like a personality,
I
in a way
agree.
that Whitney never really touched. At
Well,
all.
she passed on.
No, I mean even when she was
passed
well, I'm not saying like her ghost isn't in commercials.
We know Whitney's not on Instagram.
I'm saying
Not looking for her
Whitney
TikTok.
would-
Like,
I'm
where is
saying,
she?
here's all I'm saying. If Whitney was still alive today, of course she would be. Do you know what I mean?
I
Do
don't
you
think
think
so.
so?
I don't think so. I think she stepped out of that kind of like she never really did. I mean, The Bodyguard after that, she didn't really do like endorsements and brand deals. and
Whitney
stuff like
did
that.
Whitney
The 90s.
did-
She was still killing it in the 90s.
She was,
It's not right, but it's okay.
But I think that Mariah, in a weird way, was more of like the people's pop star. And I feel like Whitney had like a very big but curated and specific audience that really enjoyed what she gave. But I feel like Mariah kind of gave a lot. We didn't really even see like, not that this is a very specific example, but like we didn't even see like Whitney on like a TRL. The way that we could see like Mariah Carey, as weird as it
But
was, pop
yeah.
up on a TRL.
I think that's a
Yeah, she
really
was less
interesting
approachable.
comment.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like Mariah like is an influencer in that way.
A little bit, yeah.
Which is different than Whitney. And I actually, it's so funny. One of my friends was going through a breakup, like this was like 10 years ago. And we went to Yosemite for the weekend to just like get our minds off it. And my friend Sarah is like obsessed with Whitney. And we watched for 8 hours deep cut Whitney clips on YouTube. And we didn't even scratch the surface of
Yeah.
like all these like iconic performances and things like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just would never see us watching 8 hours of Mariah videos.
I went
at
through a
all.
lot of
I
videos.
think
She
I would probably rather sit through like
she has
Mariah
a lot
clips.
of really classic like moments that we don't even because we don't do these things anymore. Like
Sure.
like we don't do these major concerts that are like these like
think
money
I will
raising.
say-
Like, you know, they used to do the ball, like the
Like
jingle
benefit-
ball.
benefits
and
Jingle
stuff
ball
like
was
that.
like a huge thing. Yeah.
I think
agree.
Mariah and Whitney both, to me, and this is why it's hard because I love them both, because I think they both were kind of unfiltered. And
That's
would just
true.
say
I
whatever.
agree.
Like Mariah Carey famously doesn't like acknowledge Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, she's like, who is that? She's like, I don't know who that is.
That's
Yeah.
so
also,
funny.
there's like this famous clip of Whitney Houston just being like, Paula Abdul ain't and it's
Yeah.
like, why are you coming for Paula Abdul? Like,
No
leave her
shade, but no
alone.
lies detected.
But
No shade.
I actually love that, and I relate to that. I have a Scorpio moon, and so
Yeah.
and I'm very unfiltered, and I kind of will just sort of say whatever, and I don't necessarily. I obviously don't have the same. Like for me, Mariah and Whitney can say whatever they want. I can't because I'm not as talented as them. But I think whenever people are that talented, they can kind of do whatever they want. That's why I do believe in
Yeah.
divas. That's what I think it is to be a diva. You're so talented that you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
You can, there's uncut moments of Mariah Carey just being a diva. I found so many where like she's having an interview with Katie Couric, and at one point she's just like, I'm done with this. Like,
I
Katie
love-
Couric,
I love
like she
that.
just walks
I'm
away.
obsessed.
Like
I love that.
That's funny.
For
That
those of
is-
y'all watching this right now, can I ask y'all, which diva do y'all relate to more? Do you relate to the unfiltered conversations of Whitney Houston, or do you relate more to the delicate shade of Mariah Carey? Tell us in the comments
interesting. That's
right away.
interesting.
No, it's not delicate
know what?
shade.
It's delicate.
She's literally just saying like Jennifer Lopez.
like, I don't know
who that is. Like that's not delicate.
That's what shade
insane,
is.
but it's not delicate.
Whitney, I
But-
think, always had a little bit more aggression behind her
Which I
shade,
love.
but
Yeah,
I think
she
that Mariah
reads. She's
definitely
She reads. It's a
Exactly.
different kind of like, because
Whitney reads
Reading is
and Mariah
fundamental.
is shady.
Wait, why
Yeah.
is Mariah not acknowledging Jennifer Lopez?
Because Jennifer
doesn't think she's a
Lopez
singer.
linked
copied
up,
all her stuff.
she linked up with
basically.
Tommy Mottola, who used her to basically steal
Steal her look.
Well, allegedly.
Like
Yeah.
if you look at J-Lo and everything she does, it is like a little bit one step behind. Like even
And
like
the Ja
that
Ja
golden
Rule
blonde
song,
hair.
the Ja Rule song.
Yeah.
yeah.
I also went to a J-Lo
Yes.
concert and
Was the mic on?
it was crazy because like
I know that shit
between
wasn't.
songs she would just leave to
Damn
change
right.
and then a DJ would come on and just play random songs
That's
that weren't
so
hers.
funny.
We're like, what's happening? Like
Oh,
it was
God.
the weirdest.
But that's what I think
Mariah
it's
would
like.
never.
It's
Yeah,
like
Mariah
Rudy.
would
Yeah. So
never.
okay. So you're saying that Whitney is a little more just like gonna say it, and that, I actually respond to that more. I would much rather have somebody just be in my face aggressive to me than doing like weird shady passive aggressive stuff. That to
Yeah.
me, and that's why I don't like mess with that as much. I appreciate and respect it, but if I'm gonna have either in the comments, who would you rather come for you? Would you rather have Mariah Carey ream you out or Whitney Houston? It's gonna be Whitney all
It's
day.
gonna be
for me.
Mine is like I do
It's
not
gonna
want to be on
Whitney.
Mariah's bad side. Like
That's
Of
how I
course,
feel.
but if you
Yeah, I
have
do
to
not-
choose which one, it's like I would rather have Whitney because there's more truth.
I don't want to be
There's-
cussed out
Wait,
by Whitney.
also when
It's truthful. It's
when
real.
they were accusing Whitney of being on crack on national television, she goes,
Crack
"Crack
is
is cheap."
Yeah.
Do you think I would be doing crack? Crack is whack, and it became like,
Which
Crack
is
is
amazing.
what would be a meme of that time? Definitely,
I agree,
Because
yeah.
she's like, I
Especially
don't give a
Dare. Yeah,
She
Dare
doesn't
happening.
care.
To me, Whitney Houston is the definition of diva. Like if you like open Webster's dictionary, you're gonna see diva. You're going to see a picture of Whitney Houston. I'm not joking. I'm not even kidding. You're gonna see
Yeah,
Whitney Houston
yeah.
next to her. It's just like period because she had the talent, she had the personality, she had the style, the everything. And it
She was
just like
a
Whitney.
cultural icon, an absolute cultural icon. She blew up the 90s with her in the movies,
Everybody,
with her in the Grammys.
every singer to this day has been touched by Whitney and inspired by her.
Wow, these
They
are big.
have.
They have.
They have.
Oh.
And she had diva energy. I'm
She had
sorry.
diva
We're
energy.
talking about her on stage. Sorry, no offense. This is Mariah. This is Whitney slinking through, making eye contact. She's creating a vibe.
Sweating.
Everyone is feeling
Sweating too much.
Yeah, she is sweating
Yeah.
because she's working hard at being a diva.
Yeah, well, you know what? A real
Divas
diva.
don't sweat,
Yeah, a real
Monica.
diva.
Yes,
they do.
A real diva has somebody that comes off and pats him off. That's a real diva. A diva controls her light.
Ooh.
A diva is put together.
Ooh.
She creates looks that people copy for generations to come. A diva takes on an entire season. A diva is Christmas.
When you think about Mariah Carey, you think about diva and you think about impact. Butterflies, we never looked at them the same way after Mariah Carey
Yeah.
let us know that was her symbol.
You know what a diva does? She walks up all those stairs in China in heels.
You know what a diva animal is? A lamb.
What? Sorry. She walked up all those stairs in China in heels.
Damn
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's how
The
a
Great
diva
Wall
do
of
it.
China?
The Great Wall of China.
That's
she
how a
climbed
diva
it
do it.
in Louboutins.
I'm pretty sure an actual
and
diva.
Whitney would never.
I'm pretty sure an actual diva would have someone.
Well, she did it for a few steps and then
Hold
somebody
them.
carried her.
Yeah,
I mean,
carried
she's
her.
a
And
diva.
that's nothing but diva behavior.
Yeah.
Okay,
Guess
but-
what? A diva walks out of interviews when she doesn't like the vibe.
And if
Okay,
you don't
but-
have her champagne glass chilled with a chocolate in it, she's gonna leave.
Look at celebrities now, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
what they do. Mariah was kind of like one of the first women to kind of do that. Like the way she did sponsorships. Yeah, in a way she was like sort of an influencer.
was, yeah.
But
I
on
agree.
top of it, she was also an incredible singer. I mean, she sings every single harmony in her albums, and a lot of people didn't do that until now.
I just
She
like
was
the
one
fact
of the
that she
first
writes the
people.
music for
And
me.
she writes the
Yeah.
music.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
there's-
it for me.
There's an interesting moment in the Prince of Egypt when they I think it's an Oprah interview actually, where they sit down and they talk about actually meeting each other and working together, and they're obsessed. They're we're old girlfriends, whatever. And they get into the technique of one of them had just had a show, so they were on vocal rest and doing the specific exercises that opera singers do to because they were talking about
Opening
how
it
your
up.
vocal cords
Yeah.
are muscles and cords. It needs
Mhm.
to relax. And I was like, oh my God, this is the the media would never write about.
I
But I'm like, here are
know.
these women who are so technically excellent, operatic style excellent, bridging the pop and R&B genres. Like, and why aren't we talking about like
at least hotter?
You know what? At least
we love drama.
With Taylor Swift these days, they're like, oh yeah, she trains like a football player, so she can like run across the eras on the stage. And I'm like,
she does that?
Yeah, she does.
She damn sure does. She damn sure does.
Yeah, it's like Miley Cyrus on the treadmill.
Her ass be running.
No, that's what.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at least the media is
that's how
talking
I
about that
train.
now. Do you know what I mean? Versus back then when it was like these
Melismatic
icons.
singing is like that whisper tone that is like really, really high up that she then harmonizes with her lower tone. I think that's what.
And that's
Melismatic-
something that we see a lot today
and
from
now-
like
True.
our Ariana Grandes.
I'm not gonna lie.
J-Lo when she
tries.
What is
When
the
she
music?
tries.
What is the music video where she's at the movie theater?
Heartbreaker.
Oh,
Heartbreaker.
yes.
Best music video of all time.
Is a really good music
And she
video.
whooped her
I have
own
to
ass
give
in
you
that
And
music
I
video.
love that.
I have to give you
Jerry O'Connell, he's on a date with her evil twin sister, which I thought I saw behind the music or something where she explained the video and she's like, "That's Bianca." Like the evil twin character
and
that
she-
she's playing.
also,
is
I
Bianca.
love
And now
Mariah-
Beyonce
okay.
has her alter
No,
ego.
Beyonce-
I have to
Oh, yeah.
say, I do love Mariah. She is a man in Why You So Obsessed With Me.
Yeah.
Do you know that music
Yeah.
video?
Yeah,
she's
Why
coming
You So-
after
She
Eminem.
literally
Yeah.
is like dressed up as a guy and she's playing the guy who's like obsessed with her. Yeah, and that
Wait,
was about Eminem.
And Heartbreaker, she's wearing that little pink knit top.
It is,
and like,
yes,
the,
she
like
is
the tiny
pretty
That's
cool.
iconic.
the pants that are like super low, that rainbow. Like I remember being in my bedroom with like my girlfriends looking at that, just like staring at the cover. And you guys, I didn't know I was gay back then, but probably it's why
Sure.
I'm gay.
We know. And everything is
In every
why you're
episode.
gay.
Yeah, but, like I just remember it's just like that little tank top. Like I just wanted to look exactly like her and sound exactly
She was just like
her.
cute, dainty, and powerful all
Yeah,
at once.
she was powerful, but
Mhm.
like cute at the same time, which I think at the time was like you could be Missy Elliott or you could be like, you know, TLC, but there was not really like a one girl.
Well, I
that was
also
doing
love
that.
I
feel
love
like,
that it was
and this
took
isn't
place at the
shade, but
movie
I felt
theater.
like Whitney Houston was more like motherly, and I feel like Mariah Carey was like the girl that's going to pick you up to go to the party.
I agree. She was
You
more
know?
like she was more like
Interesting.
Yeah,
She's
like
she's a
Whitney
mean
Houston is
girl.
like hanging out with like your mom, and y'all are like maybe they're kikiing
Yeah,
in the
she's like
kitchen
an
or whatever.
auntie.
And
Yeah, auntie vibes.
yes, Mariah
Yeah.
Carey
Yeah.
is coming in. She's coming with the buzz balls in her
That
purse.
That
Yeah,
weirdly
yeah.
feels problematic.
It feels beautiful,
I'm just
fun,
gonna
and
say that was
youthful to
problematic.
me.
No, Whitney.
yeah, she's a
to
girlfriend
me-
like that you want
To
to be.
me,
Yeah.
Whitney was not a mother. She was not an aunt. She was somebody that I wanted to
She was a
be.
superhero.
Yeah.
She was a superhero.
Untouchable.
She's Batman.
She
Wonder Woman.
was a superhero. Don't even compare her to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has nothing on Whitney.
Wonder Woman,
Houston.
sit your ass down then, I guess.
Yeah, sorry.
Shit, can't even be Wonder Woman.
She was just like, to me, Whitney was like a big sister vibe. Like I wanted to
Yeah,
be her.
I think
wanted,
that's right. Yeah.
Big sister vibe, yeah, but like unapproachable in that way, right? She was like always on a kind of a higher pedestal.
For those of y'all watching right now, who would you rather be your big sister? Would you want the unfiltered truth from Whitney Houston or cute outfits from Mariah Carey? Let us know because we're nosy and we read a lot.
I also feel you saying that it makes me like Whitney's on a different frequency. Do you know what I mean? Like
I can
Whitney
agree with
is
that.
moving
Otherworldly.
on
From
a
a different-
different
from everyone in the
Otherworldly.
world.
and
Yeah.
in that way, I'm like, she's uncomparable.
I am so excited for us to finally talk about my favorite Mariah Carey music video, which is, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the Honey remix music video. There are a few things that made me gay, like Shamar Moore on Soul Train, like Uncle Jesse on Full House, like
Oh my
good
God.
head of
Wow,
hair.
that's your guy?
And then also Mariah Carey and her gang of silver backup dancers in that Honey music video. When this young lady jumped off of that balcony and dove
Into the pool?
into the pool, and I still can't swim, but when she dove into that pool, I might have wanted to take a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And to see the locks just go off and feel themselves dressed to like little Xenon, girls of the 21st century, and that all silver, it really impacted me. And I realized that I wanted to be one of Mariah Carey's sexuality ambiguously,
I love
backup
that.
dancers, you know?
And even the cover of Honey, like that brown, like golden,
Yeah.
that is the vibe today. Like people are copying that are still in that
Very
vibe.
Victoria Monet today.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Yeah,
Like
I agree.
That
I've never
timeless
seen
kind of
this.
blonde
You never seen
hair.
this music video?
I
You would love the
remember
music
watching
video.
it on like a VH1 like
Was it a pop-up video?
It might have been like a countdown. It might have been a countdown. Watch our VH1 MTV episode. But I do like you describing the silver suited people. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like picturing it.
Did he booty popping in some silver?
It was like very cool.
How did we know?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
the pool
cool.
woman alone was just like, I remember I was like, how do they do that?
Tom Cruise, who?
Yeah.
That
The
mission
music
was impossible
video
for me.
like the Whitney, because in the 90s she had It's Not Right.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm wearing this black turtleneck.
Love a
She
reference
wears
when
a
it
black
needs to be
turtleneck in it.
and when it needs to be
And
referenced.
she's very sleek. And I know you guys are gonna say, yeah, because she was like more mature, but like she's talking about and those lyrics and the way that song is composed, and it's like it's kind of like offbeat, and it's sort of like unsettling because you're like, wait, what's going on? And then she's saying the things about like you went out with your friends, you said it was just you and your friends, but why was there a receipt for only 2 people? And it's like, what? Like
A storyteller.
it's like storytelling, and it's like chills up my spine. She is literally confronting this person who's cheating on her while looking sleek and posing. And also the 90s was all about those like kind of like those backgrounds that were just sort of like, it looked like a Sears, like you were getting a photo at Sears. Like, you know what I mean?
like a
I know
JC
what
Penney.
you mean.
Yeah, but it was
Because
just
Sears
like,
was doing it and they've actually like never caught
but
up.
yeah, well, we
They
didn't
just
need
stayed there.
anything
Still
else.
doing
Like it was just the story, and it was like Whitney being like, and here's the truth, and you will not, it's not right, but it's okay. And I can't tell how many times I've said that when it comes to dating.
100%.
How many times?
And I've said that to you. I've said that to you and she said it
How
back
many
to me.
times I've said that?
Yeah, she said it a lot.
To the guys I date, it's not right, but it's okay, because you know what? No matter what you do, I'm gonna be okay. And that, I don't know, whatever. Whatever Mariah was doing, but did she give you the power to know?
But I feel like
that-
I've said I taste like honey, so it's been influential for me too.
I don't know if you heard that, but one of our producers just scoffed.
What do you taste like? Let us
Gasped
know.
back there. So
Well, how do you know what you taste like?
I've tasted myself. You don't have a little taste. I taste everything before I serve it.
I'm a gay man.
You're
so-
married, so
I've
it's you're done.
I've
Yeah.
smelled to make sure it smells okay.
You don't taste it?
I never tasted it. I'm making sure it smells okay.
I mean,
It smells pretty good.
maybe by accident we've tasted it because of like
I'm
the
not
things that
tasting
happen.
myself. Am I supposed to taste myself?
Yes.
No.
Is this a different- yes.
Hey, get in the comments if you
Yes.
think
Am
you
I
should be
supposed to do
tasting
that?
yourself. Let us know.
Sometimes
'cause
when I go on interviews, I just go like this. Just for
What?
a little flair. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. And guess who
I'll
taught me
say
that?
this.
Mariah
Why don't
Carey.
you say-
So
I'll say this. Why
vaginalist,
don't you read a
like-
book, okay? Instead of rubbing your vagina juice all over yourself, read a book about Whitney
I read in a book about pheromones how it's important to be in touch with your pheromones.
But you don't have to rub your vagina juice all over
I'm
yourself.
not rubbing it all over myself. I'm dabbing just enough.
I
Your
like
pheromones are already there. Also, now I'm thinking about it all the time. Do you do that before we come here?
I don't know. Have there been days where I smell delicious? Then yes.
Courtney is
I
absolutely
am so vaginalist.
This is the moment he
like,
turned gay again.
This is like, super gay.
If I decide,
This makes me want to kiss a woman so bad.
Actually, you know what? I do think Whitney would be doing that way more than Mariah.
yeah,
Because think about the way
my natural juices.
Whitney carried herself, even on stage, the slinkiness, right? We're talking like the Divas performance or that
VH1 Divas performance.
VH1.
Whitney was there,
Whitney was there.
and I know
Look at
nobody
her.
really knows about where have those fingers been.
You'll never know.
I'm just kidding. I actually support it. Self-love. Oh, she smells really good, actually. You smell rich.
They're gonna cut this entire
She smells
episode.
really-
What do you mean? That's the cold open, clearly.
She smells really good. Okay.
Okay, let's move on. There's been other moments,
Okay.
that the fantasy music video was also another like, yeah, I just
In the parking
Well,
lot.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
You guys, I really want you guys to get into the All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yeah,
because
let's get
to
into
me, that's like the main thing about Mariah, and you haven't really
getting there.
talked about it.
Well,
That's because there's so many other things that we've talked about, and that's just kind of,
Okay, I just have to say, every time it's like around November, I know I'm going to be getting a nice little video from Mariah going, not yet. It's not time yet. And then she comes out and does her season. Mariah Carey and Christmas are one.
I'm glad that she owns it, you know, because I feel like there are some celebrities that don't like enjoy their virality, but Mariah has taken it and just like she's found like
reinvented
she's found like
herself.
the cheat code to just make infinite money.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey never has to record a song ever again because
she
that
has been,
Christmas
yeah.
song is the Christmas
And
song.
she does a Christmas
that's
tour
awesome.
every year. And I saw some interviews. She takes it very seriously.
Yeah,
She takes it
I
very
think it's awesome
seriously.
She's the holiday honey.
Mariah is the queen of Christmas. Whitney
what
is
Whitney
the
do?
queen of all year long.
That
baby.
is so funny. Are we
Whitney
at
is the
a
queen of
comedy show? That is
all
I
so
feel like
funny.
Whitney is more of
That
a,
is so
she's got like an
funny.
Easter vibe.
It's Christmas.
Yeah,
It's
it's giving
also-
ugly Easter
it's
dress
giving-
vibes,
Yeah,
actually.
It is.
What?
A lot of browns.
Yeah.
In some
In a bad way.
ways,
She got that music video with Enrique Iglesias, Hot Mess.
Okay.
Hot Mess.
in
Hot
some
Mess.
ways, I kind of think that Mariah is like a one-hit wonder.
That is
a little bit.
hilarious.
And
I'm
how
cackling
I'm
inside.
saying that is because if you kind of look at her catalog, yeah, and at most people, they'd be like, yeah, Mariah's like known for All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's the only thing I remember. That's the only time she's relevant for me is when she pops her little
yes.
head out of her
And
Groundhog
we're
Day.
not saying this is
and
what we
saying,
think.
"Not
We're not.
yet."
Yeah, we're not saying
saying-
this is what
Hey,
we think.
Because in the comments, if you're like, oh my God,
We're
Wow.
saying
We're
that
saying
some
that's
people.
what people are
Yes,
saying.
You're telling me
about her.
Heartbreaker?
Whereas Whitney Houston, no.
You have girls
The
in
words,
Yosemite
oh my
watching deep
gosh.
cuts for 8 hours.
The words one
You
hit
guys-
wonder would
This
never
is
come out of
so
your mouth when you think
hilarious.
of Whitney Houston.
I feel like you
Not
should
Mariah
have
Carey
to get
and
close to
One
the
Hit
one hit
Wonder.
17 albums
We're-
later.
no,
or
let's
Let's
something
hear their
hear
like
rebuttal.
that.
Time
No,
out.
let's hear their rebuttal.
But
Let's
we're
hear
just
their
saying, we're
rebuttal.
not saying that's what we think. We're just saying that, come on, that's like a thing.
Y'all are gonna let these two
Hello?
speak for y'all? Nor, babes. That
Yeah.
don't
We're
make
just
sense.
saying.
They're
We're
at
just.
Yosemite listening to
I'm
YouTube
gonna
for
tell you
8
right now,
hours.
they're not saying that.
Nobody's saying
Yeah,
that.
let's hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that Whitney Houston would ever in a million years be considered a one-hit wonder? No, you wouldn't.
I
But
think
is there a
most
world
people-
in which some people might think Mariah Carey is?
I think
Maybe.
there's a world where people go, Whitney Houston, that one song, The Bodyguard.
Nobody says that.
Maybe that's all they know.
Nobody says
Okay,
that.
then let's get into the
Nobody
real
says
facts. Let's get into
Let's
the
get into
hardware
the-
facts. Okay, this is the section that, yes, we're pitting them against each other, but you can't deny the actual facts.
200
numbers
million,
don't lie.
200 million records sold worldwide.
Mariah Carey,
220 million records sold.
Okay, 6
Okay,
Grammys.
but that's because
Six
Mariah's been alive
Grammys.
longer. That's because Mariah's been alive longer.
Yes, good point. Excellent
Okay,
point. 6 Grammys. How many Grammys does Mariah have?
6 Grammys.
Oop.
Also,
Awfully
Whitney
quiet on that
Houston.
side. Oop.
Oh,
Awfully
like
quiet.
award shows
7
matter at all.
Whitney Houston, 7 consecutive #1 singles. She shares the record with the Beatles. Ringo, George, Paul, and John. So, okay, Mariah has a little more million records worldwide.
She's one of the best selling artists globally.
Okay.
And people continue to buy her
That's
music.
the planet.
She's still making music. And of course, Whitney maybe would still be making music if she was still with us
Absolutely.
today. But would we like the music? Would it be a little Sleepyville? Or would she keep up with the times? We don't know. But I think she did get to a point where she sort of reached her peak. And I think that
I
was
can
The
agree with
Bodyguard.
that.
And
I can
then,
agree with that.
yeah, and in the 80s, the music was great. Like, I want to dance with somebody. That's incredible. But I feel like she didn't evolve with the times. And I think that's
I
what
agree.
happened.
I think it's hard to say this. Whitney Houston broke so many racial barriers that, like, so you can't even, like, and Mariah wouldn't even.
So did Mariah. I mean, look at her.
Not
I'm like,
as
as a
many,
biracial
because,
woman, I
yeah.
think Mariah brought a lot of visibility. I
But
think
I'm
that's
just saying,
important.
Whitney.
Yeah, and Beyonce wouldn't have blonde hair if it wasn't for Mariah Carey.
I think that is
That's a
a
huge thing.
semi-fair
That's
point.
She's
That's
kind of made an
interesting.
entire, like, look out of, like, people still copy her look.
I
Yeah,
think
I think.
that's
what
Well,
I'm
I'm
saying.
just saying. I think that, like, for Whitney Houston singing a song like "I'm Every Woman," and everybody being like, "Yeah, okay," like there's like people.
I'm Every
that,
Woman is
That's what
like
I'm
we
saying,
have to
like-
pause on that because that really is a cultural moment.
And
that
there's-
song was used
there
for
are literally-
a lot of women empowerment.
I know, but I think
Okay,
it's
there
very
are
women.
racist
Yeah, so is
people.
so
there
is
are
Raining
racist
Men,
people
you know?
that truly don't. They like see a black person and they're like, "Huh?" But then whenever like Whitney came on and she was this like beautiful, powerful black woman who was singing "I'm Every Woman," and her talent is undeniable. Literally, I'm telling you, like racist people are like, "Well, okay, I guess black people are awesome."
Not
That's,
Whitney
like,
cured racism.
powerful.
I'm fucking
Wait,
screaming.
but wait,
Whitney
Mariah Carey
cured
is black.
Racism, bitch.
Yeah.
You learn something.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more
right?
you know.
saying.
She done cured it all, girl.
Wait, so was Mariah
Whitney
Carey?
came out shaking that bobbin. White people said,
I'm not saying she cured it.
Maybe black people are okay.
I'm saying that Whitney was before Mariah, and she was obviously like you know what I mean? Like,
So because Mariah Carey was light skinned, you don't think she had the same impact?
no, I'm not necessarily saying
that's not what we're
that.
saying.
that what you're saying?
No, here's what we're saying. Here's what we're saying.
Clear it up.
We're gonna clear it up. We're gonna clear it up.
It is an important thing because obviously Mariah being more light skinned, she was more palpable to racist people. That's what I'm saying because it's like, oh, but
Yeah,
so it was harder for Whitney.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I think what we're saying is that Whitney is a cultural icon in a lot of ways, breaking a lot of barriers. Like we said before, actor, incredible musician, had the talent, had the range, had the personality, and like the star presence. And in a time where we are not giving the flowers to POCs, this was an incredible step forward.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to take away from Mariah.
Mariah also did, I think, amazing things and still continues to do amazing things. But and it has not. I don't.
And you guys agree
we're not
with
talking
us.
anything
You guys
about
agree with
light
us.
skin,
I know.
dark skin.
Yeah.
No. We're not
Please.
saying
That
any
is
of that
not
stuff.
what I'm trying to
We're saying
say.
I think both deserve incredible flowers. They're very different in my mind. Like we said before, Mariah is a little bit more like reachable for audiences, influencer, has fun with virality.
Accessible.
Yeah, accessible, has fun
Let's not
changing
forget all her
herself.
fragrances.
Totally. But Whitney was like a person who wasn't going to change for anyone else. She was like
she
an
cured
artist.
racism.
A
Whitney
true
couldn't
artist.
even be herself, Monica.
Well,
Yeah, she couldn't.
What do
She
you
couldn't
mean?
be herself, so what do you
She
mean?
was gay. She was hiding. I think that
She
was
had to do that.
but she had a
that
girlfriend.
wasn't her choice. Yes, she had a
She was
girlfriend.
with
Robin was.
Yeah,
well,
but nobody
well,
knew
that.
that
Is
though.
alleged.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that's- everything's
Yeah,
alleged.
fair.
allegedly. yes.
Allegedly, but also like during the time. She was just doing the best she could, and
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot. Like I
mean,
said,
that's probably why she
the
got
weight
into
of
it.
her. She was employing all of her family. She had to fit a certain image. So like, there was so much at stake for her to kind of fit into this mold. And
God, I wish she was alive now. Imagine like if she just got to be gay and like make new music.
I think
like,
the world
how
would be
incredible.
really different because she was
Yeah.
so beloved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I think that it's just so hard with Mariah and Whitney and all of these like performers that are in the spotlight. They just are giving so much of themselves, and it's like I think it's like important to have. They need to have people in their circles that are able to like fill them
Not
up.
yes people.
Yeah, and or also
Yeah.
just like to be able to like be there for them and like, you know, I think it's hard enough even if you're just a regular person, you're not even this like megastar doing concerts for millions of people and you're just your own person. You need people supporting you. So imagine what that looks like on this level for
Yeah,
both
and
of them.
everyone's just saying yes because like, they want to make money
Of
off
course.
of them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why it's so cool seeing celebrities nowadays have these boundaries, like Chappell Roan. Like everybody hates her on TikTok and they're fighting back against her, but she's like, no, I have boundaries. Like you can't follow me down the street when I'm with a friend.
I know,
Like,
and they're like, that's just the price
Yeah.
you pay with fame. It's
And
like,
it's like,
no,
no, it's not.
that's
That's what
not
you
the
signed up
price you
for.
pay.
It's
Yeah.
like, not really.
And
That's
now
I
we have
actually,
so
yeah.
much history now, like Princess Diana,
God.
like
Yeah.
what
Even Britney
Britney,
Spears, like
this
a
is what
live living version.
happens
Yeah.
when we like don't protect people who are creating art and are creative for us, and we just allow fandom to get out of control, which is, you know, not what we want for this podcast, because we do want the fandom to be getting absolutely out of control.
no, it's like, it wasn't men, it was media. The
Yeah, it
media
was
is the
media.
one who
It was
killed them.
media,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question? Well, I guess this question is specific for Team Whitney.
Okay.
What impact or like what kind of mark did Whitney Houston leave her fans? Like when you think about Whitney Houston, what's like a line or two that would describe her legacy for y'all too?
I feel like her story, like the struggle, like you felt the pain and like emotion in her music. Like, I don't know if it's a phrase for me in general, but like, we're like Whitney, we're like, ugh, what an icon, what she went through, what she did for us. you
And
know?
I think her music for me, and like when I listen to her singing, like anytime I turn on any Whitney song, I will literally just start to cry. And to be able to access, like for her voice and just like what she's doing, for that, and then for me to be able to access emotions, which it's very hard for me to be a vulnerable person. I'm a comedian. I'm
it
always
is.
trying
It's hard
to do
for her
that.
to be vulnerable.
It is.
It is.
So that Whitney can do that for me just by like her beautiful singing. Like there's something
Guttural.
about that. It just is like, okay. And also I love who she is, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
Is
she's
that-
strong.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
answer?
I agree.
Yeah,
So
it's cool
strong.
thinking about
Sa-
that. No,
same
she's
for you
strong.
guys.
Yeah,
What
like
is-
Mariah Carey, in a way, like you look at her and from the outside perspective, right, of a feminist, me being like, hey, you don't have to have makeup on all the time. You don't have to be all glammed up. Like her being a boss and being this super strong person, meanwhile also like loving these girly things about herself and, you know, perfumes, blah, 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 like, and kind of like holding court in that way for all this time is just iconic to me. Like, I feel like Mariah Carey can't be touched. Like, I'm scared of her.
Not scared.
Like, you know what I mean? I want to be carried around. I want to be in a little golf cart in my shoes. I want to be able to control the light everywhere I go. And everyone be like, that's okay. That's what she did. That's what she requires.
What about you, Courtney?
I think for me, Mariah Carey represents like freedom, right? So I enjoyed the first couple albums, very slow. I really enjoyed the second half of Mariah Carey's discography and career because that was when she did what she wanted on her own terms. She said, I want to hang out with the hood boogers, bring every rapper into the studio. Like, I love the fact that you can so clearly tell there was a time where someone had their thumb on her neck.
Yeah.
And the time when she, like a caterpillar, came out of her cocoon, spread her wings, and flew away like a little butterfly. And I think that that's inspiring to people, that you can go through like a really bad time, but once you're free, look at all of the things that you can accomplish. It's inspiring to me.
Yeah, and I think
I love both of these ladies so
ladies.
much. I'm obsessed with both of them.
Me too.
Whitney passed away in 2012, and I know obviously maybe people like remember where they were whenever they found the news. For me, that isn't like as relevant. And I know you guys are gonna make fun of me, but like to me, Whitney Houston is still very much alive. I know that her daughter, Bobbi Kristina, was talking to Oprah on an interview, and she said that Whitney still like visits her and talks to her, and I believe that full-heartedly because she was such a powerful presence.
She's
and
like,
so I
Bobbi
don't know,
Kristina,
it's
get
weird
out.
to me. Like I'm like, oh, I guess
So
yeah,
weird.
she's passed away, but she is so like energetically still with me.
Wait, that's another thing we
it's
didn't
so
talk about.
true.
They're both like strong. They're moms too. Like
Oh,
not only
yeah.
are they like strong women fighting these men, but they're also like raising kids
And they love their families.
and they
Yeah.
love their families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was in college, and when the news came, but I feel like Whitney is able to live on in such a crazy way, even when it wasn't like in this crazy digital time. Like the landscape on YouTube with like Whitney videos, Whitney pictures, like it's such a large footprint because people still engage with it and care about it and want to be seeing it and reliving those moments. And like, that's crazy. You can't say that for everyone.
True. When Whitney Houston passed away, I was waking up from a nap. But at the time, I worked at a DVD like CD store. Those existed back then. And people would like come into the store like with tears in their eyes to like buy the Greatest Hit CD, which we never turned off.
Wow.
And I think it was then that I really understood the impact. Like moms, like little kids, like people my
are
age at the
not
time.
famous
Like,
in that same way.
I agree.
Yeah.
And like
I
they're not
know.
over it's so niche now. Like if you like a girl who plays ukulele on one foot, like she exists. Like there was not somebody that embodied like a whole time like Whitney did.
I agree.
And anybody that survived the 90s as like a celebrity and is still like level-headed and not like in a basement rocking back and forth, like kudos to you. Like who are some people in the 90s that really like touched you? Like some singers, I mean not directly, we don't need that.
Now, Jade.
But like who are some people who inspired you in the 90s that you're like, wow, look at that. Like without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. Leave a comment below.
Well, what a whirlwind. I feel good. I think obviously this was a hard one to do because that's like, we're not trying to pit these two women against each other. It was just that we were Team Whitney and they were Team Mariah, and that's what we talked about. I feel stronger about how obsessed I am with Whitney. Somehow I didn't know that was possible, but I feel stronger about her and I want to, talk to her. I want to be with her. But I think that this was, I don't know. I'm flustered. Maybe somebody else should take over.
You know what? It was a great episode. I feel so much love for Whitney after talking about it too. It's cool to hear you. So I wish I was passionate about anything the way you're passionate about everything. But yeah, like what? I mean, it's so nostalgic for me to just think about like being in my room, making up these dances with my girlfriends and like to look back on what they've done for us and how like maybe it's a little bit better to be a female singer now, maybe not. But I'm glad that we got into it and we can't wait to hear what you guys think about this episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Whitney and shout out to Mariah Carey, two superstars. And it was a lot of fun to discuss their legacies. They're obviously both huge juggernauts in the music industry. And I don't know. I think that they've inspired the masses, and I'm just glad to live in the same timeline as them.
I also forgot to mention that Whitney Houston briefly dated Robert De Niro, and I think that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty sick. That should have
I just
opened.
think that's awesome. I want to shout out Robert De Niro and Whitney Houston. And I would have killed to be a fly on the wall for one conversation between the two of them.
Same.
You know?
Same.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Whitney and Robert De Niro. Anyways.
I want to thank Mariah for what she's done for the holidays. Ultimately, thank you, Mariah.
Thank you.
And if you haven't seen The Bodyguard, really, you need to be rewatching that. So fun episode.
Thanks,
What
you
the
guys.
heck?
I love you guys.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Jade
And-
smells really good.
And all we want for Christmas is for you to comment below.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. We loved it. And if you want to check out our last episode that we were really into, you can check it out right here, VH1 versus MTV. Just click.
We talk about Whitney on Divas. Okay.